Hello and welcome to the first official rebranded episode of the Longplayers Club. My name is Allison. I am your host along here with my co-host Isabel. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm fine. How are you, Alison? How was your break during Christmas?
Are we going to have the hour-long conversation we just had about our break? No. My break was great. Christmas was great. We're
Cool.
coming to you guys from New Year's Day to let you in on a little secret. So, Isabel and I have been for the past year and a half or so secretly recording podcasts just for ourselves to listen to and to keep us accountable and as a way for us to connect and stay connected over our shared love of music. We have a bit of a sort of like a book club, but an album club or a long players club where we recommend albums to each other I would say every month or so, listen to them and discuss them. And once upon a time, we even had a guest. So these are all our back catalogs. So we've been practicing and getting ready to introduce our fabulous club to the world. So anyone who
Yeah.
wants to participate is able to do so. And yeah, maybe this can also be a fun little project for us for Isabel mostly, to hone her incredible production skills. We have been doing we've been doing these album clubs ourselves, and we want to open this up to a wider public and to help us stay accountable and to maybe have some more fun with it and to maybe have some more guests with it. So, this episode is going to be a little special. This will be our wrap up of the past year, which obviously will be secret. No one has heard that except for us. So, we'll be talking kind of about our favorite albums, our favorite artists this year, some surprises, some concerts we really enjoyed. And then, yeah, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the future and what to expect. And maybe we can even recommend ourselves a first album to start off 2026 with. So do you have anything to add to my
Yeah. Yeah. It is December, and everyone waited for the Spotify wrapped up the end of the year, and it was my first official Spotify year. I shifted over from Apple Music, and
But I have to when did you join Spotify? What data
yeah,
set
it
are you
was
working with?
it was like beginning of the year. I guess January, end of January. I think we were in Thailand. Yeah, so
Well, we have about
February
a
or stuff.
year of data to play with here. Okay, good.
Yeah, and I'm very curious because I think we had a very intense music year besides the album club recordings or Long Players Club recordings. Also concerts, live experience, a lot of exchange of music, and it was like what is Neujahrsvorsatz?
It's like a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, it was one for me last year to put more music into my life, and I think
And do you think you
it happened.
accomplished that?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, then, first question, what's your New Year's resolution this year?
To bring this podcast live.
Very good. And for all of our listeners, a little secret. Tomorrow, New Year's Day, January 1st, is actually also Isa's birthday. So she doesn't have just one, but two new beginnings happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
What a great, yeah, two times the pressure. What a great time to start new. What I was thinking what we could do is maybe, so I sent you some questions that I want to go over with to talk about our year, more specifically rooted to the LPC, the Long Players Club. And then maybe after that, as the grand reveal, then we can talk about our Spotify Wrapped and reveal what our statistics say were the actual favorites and most played of the year.
Yeah, of course. I'm curious to have a
Mhm.
comparison to our personal Long Plays Club year and what does Spotify say. I think I'm heavily influenced in my Spotify statistics by it.
By a certain club,
Yeah.
a certain Long Players Club. Yeah, I think I definitely was also. I mean, a recommendation from you landed in my top 5. Not as much goth music got in there as, maybe we were expecting, but we'll get into that. So, maybe then I will start with my first question to you, which was yeah, well, we had a great concert year. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Who did we see? We started off the
a
year I have to
lot.
check my list again to see where
Yeah, I also opened my list to make sure I did not miss something.
I started off the year without you because you were in Thailand and I saw Cage the Elephant
Mhm.
with Niels, who was not maybe less than thrilled to be there. He was maybe not so jamming on the music, but I had a great time. I enjoyed it.
This was the concert where you missed the first,
Exactly,
few
missed the
songs,
first, like, 20 minutes of it because we were eating kebab down the street.
right?
Still a great show, enjoyed it, got some cool merch. That was at Palladium, I wanna say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so, which is a cool venue. It was nice. It was where we saw Joe, which
yeah.
the
No,
next
Joe was in Eva.
oh, was it? Okay, so across the street then. But similar venues, I
Yeah.
would say. Then the next concert was our trip where in April we drove to Utrecht to see the Raytons English band. That was great, huge energy from the crowd. I've never seen moshing like that before.
Yeah, immediately as the music starts, the crowd was in heavy rotation. That was
Crazy
so
energy.
impressive.
Yeah, amazing. Then we saw Fontaines DC. That was in summer, August, I wanna say. That was in
Yeah.
Bonn.
But you missed Joe and June, right?
Oh, true, yeah, Joe was before Fontaines DC. Joe was in June, so across the street from where I saw Cage the Elephant. That was fun. That
It's
was
so cool. I'm
what
watching the, last episodes of Stranger
oh,
Things
yeah.
at the moment, and it's so cool to see him there like an actor. It's really shifting his image.
Really?
He's in this acting, he's very, funny, hands-on guy, but yeah, yesterday I ran into a shop, they were playing like, "Oh, I wish I could delete ya."
Really?
It's
That's
really
fun.
I like Joe a lot, yeah.
I know, he's the best. Well, okay, cool, nice. He's getting some mainstream plays. I mean, I think he's gonna explode this year. He's already huge from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Even I when I was briefly on Instagram last week, I was seeing reels being like, "Oh, all I care about is, like, Steve surviving this season."
Yeah, 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 I saw
I
it
don't
too.
watch the show, but even I know that he is Steve, so it seems like he's getting major love
You
on the
didn't
act.
know Steve yet?
Hmm?
You, don't know Steve yet, right? You
I've
didn't
seen
watch
the
it?
first couple episodes, so yeah, I think in the first episode he has a sex scene with the main girl. I don't know her name.
I don't remember, it's too long ago.
Yeah, fair enough. But, yeah, I think he's gonna have a massive year, and with Stranger Things ending, maybe he'll be focusing more on the
Yeah.
music, so maybe we're gonna I mean, he's definitely gonna be touring. He's got the second half of The Crux that came out, and, yeah, so I think it's gonna be a busy year from him. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about him and from him, and good for him. He deserves it. Yeah, so then we had Fontaines DC. That was in Bonn. That was the outdoor concert, quite cool. That
Yeah.
was big one for you. I know they were on heavy rotation for you this year. Yeah, that was a fun concert. But
Yeah,
they
it
were
was
less
my
lively than I was expecting. They weren't as interactive with the crowd as I would have hoped.
Yeah, it was a special concert for me too, but I expect more, I guess I would say. But I think it was like first time open air, having a sunny, lush summer night was
Mhm.
super nice.
Then after that, we drove to Maastricht.
Second trip to the Netherlands.
Yes. What was the festival called? Was it 3
It was 3 for 0 or 0 for 3.
0 for 3, 3 for 1, 3 for 0, something like that.
Yeah.
Some
So
number
3 days for pay nothing.
for 0 cost, which was great, and the venue
Yeah, it
was
was
also
so
so
cool.
cool, this old building with multiple different stages, there was the outdoor stage too. It was great,
Yeah, the venue was great.
yeah, and who did we see there? We saw Dive.
Dive, we were there for Dive was the main
Yes.
reason.
But we each came away with a new special little pets.
Yeah, yeah.
How about
It was
yours?
worth it. Yeah, we discovered October Drift right before Dive had the set played,
You're
and
right.
October Drift really tangled me into their music, and I started following them, but unfortunately, they broke up end of the year, but I was so great to see them there. Yeah. And also next day we went back to the venue for the second day for free, and
Mhm.
we surprisingly were discovering High Highs, a Belgian band with a
Amazing.
female lead singer, a drummer also singing along.
They were amazing.
Crazy.
I love them. They remind me so much of Middle Kids, which has been, like, a longtime favorite of mine, so and I see they also have a new album coming out, I think, in a couple weeks, so
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
And I also see they announced a few shows in Antwerp, I guess.
Ooh, maybe a tour coming up, maybe another trip for us.
Yeah.
Nice. So then coming back to Cologne, in October, we saw The Darkness, which was, oh my god, amazing. That was so fun. Just, like, The energy was insane. People were so hype, and I know they're a longtime favorite of you, so it was a really special concert for me. Even
Yeah.
though I got sick from that concert,
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
was still worth it. It was amazing. I
And
loved it. I
it
was
was so
rewatching the videos
cool.
this morning. It was so
And
good.
the most interesting fact about this crowd was, as you have to go to the toilet as a woman, it was always free access.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Not usually happening that way, but
No.
I'll take it. After that, we saw yes, the vaccines opening for Mumford& and Sons. The vaccines were great, even though maybe the stadium wasn't totally full for that, and maybe we were the only ones singing along, but
Yeah.
it was still they performed very well, but that brings us yeah, that brought up that whole topic about, what's it like being an opener versus playing in your own venue, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very excited to say I have tickets to see the vaccines in a smaller venue for their anniversary tour of their first album in April, and I think it's gonna be a totally different experience than, seeing them open for Mumford& and Sons at such a large venue, and I can't wait for that, but they were still great, even though the vibe was maybe, not so what I would have wanted.
Yeah, and it was a little bit too short. It's always when you being a support act, you just have this small amount of time and push all your energy and your good songs through the crowd to get the energy up. And I think they did a great job. And I
They
really
did.
was they were also interacting with this whole stadium, and that's
Yeah,
great.
and by the end, I like to think that they won over some people
Yeah,
because
sure.
definitely more people dancing and getting into it, yeah, towards the end, and yeah, they played great, and I got as you were saying the darkness, for once the women can go to the toilet without a line, that's amazing. For once, I could buy merch in a size that actually fits me, so that was great because when you're there for the opener, not so many people are interested in their merch, and,
Yeah, it was also the year of new merch. I also collected a few items. Yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that was the last concert we went together, but I have 3
the
more.
Rasmus was the last concert we went to together.
Yeah, sure. I don't get it on my list. You're right. The Rasmus.
We also didn't even talk about Mumford& Sons because we didn't even stay for the whole thing, we left.
We left before the Hey Ho song came up.
That's Hey Ho's the Lumineers.
The Lumineers, sorry, I'm always what was it?
Little Lion Man, I
The
think is
Lion Man, yeah.
or no, no, we stayed for the cave. We saw the cave. I don't even remember what their most famous song is, but we left before that. Mumford& and Sons, honestly, I was expecting a more boring show than that, and, like, there were definitely some parts where it was kind of boring, but I couldn't believe how, like, fit the guy was.
Yeah, he was so
Something
energetic.
fat in my mind, but he was, like, running across the whole thing,
Yeah,
singing the whole time. He was amazing. He was in great shape, so that was, I was
yeah.
impressed. And
Yeah,
then
and also the lights during the winter time, the setup on the stage, that was very
yeah, that was cool.
impressive.
But they had 2 little stages, that was quite cool t yeah. There was fire, I think, at one point too.
Yeah, sure,
It
yeah.
was neat, but yeah. And anyways, the Rasmus, the last one we saw together for the year, that was also great energy, and, they had 2 openers,
Yeah, 2
and I really
openers.
liked the one opener. I ended up saving, one of their songs. I can't
A
remember
funeral portrait, or
maybe
was it?
Funeral,
Yeah.
yeah.
Funeral portrait, yeah.
Also
American band.
great, great high
Yeah.
energy. Rasmus,
I
of course
was just standing there, "Oh my god, what is happening?" It's like an accident, but in a good way.
yeah, he was very theatrical, I would
Yeah,
say. Very expressive, very, yeah, entertaining. It was great.
yeah.
But what
Yeah,
did
and
what
I
did
was
you
so
stop?
glad that you joined my at least favorite band from back in the days when I
It was
was a
about
teenager.
time. You recommended 2 Rasmus albums to me this year. How could I not wanna go? No,
2?
only 1 was this year, the other
Yeah.
one was last year. But yeah, yeah, yeah. How could I not wanna go? I loved
Yeah,
it.
nice.
What shows did you see without me?
Yeah, I made 3 shows without you, but on one show, on the first show, I asked you, and I know afterwards you were so sad because I opened my year at the end of January with Nothing But Thieves. They were in Düsseldorf, and I just asked you to join, and I went there alone. It was the second time I saw them after they released the newer album DCC, right?
Dead Club City.
Yeah, Dead Club City. And yeah, it was great show. It was super relaxed. I didn't rush myself to get like just soaking it up and being there. And yeah, they are always a good live act. And
You didn't hang around to meet them at the end?
no, 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 it was a big, big venue, so no
For our new
chance.
listeners, Isa is spectacular at meeting her idols, and she is
Just a
very
small one.
she's Yes, but I don't think you would not try to meet a bigger one if you really wanted to.
Yeah, okay, I just waited for the Rasmus, hang around, but yeah, it's nothing really that is gonna happen, so it's
But
just
you're
happened.
brave. You'll shoot your shot, you'll DM and say, "Hey, great show, love to say hi." So, yeah, through that, we've, been lucky enough to say hello to some of the acts before, which I've never done before because I am always the one who's like, "I wanna beat traffic, let's get out of here." I will say you are a very respectful concert goer. You come for the opener, you listen to the opener, you stay till the very end. You oftentimes also stay and say like, "Hey, thanks, great show." So you're
Yeah,
your passion. You're really great at
yeah.
that.
So, and I got 2 other concerts on my list that is from my inner darker gothic girl heart. I went there with my friend Ellie, who had a massive influence in my gothic music taste, and it was, Nine Inch Nails were in Cologne in June as well, and oh my god, it was a great show. I didn't expect anything. We have at least a few songs we really like, and the other songs are so, like, noisy and we don't really like. But it was so worth it because it was the same setup as Mumford& and Sons, having a main stage in a big arena in Cologne, and then a smaller stage in the middle of a crowd, and I think that's so cool, and you just can do this kind of concept in a big arena, right?
Mhm.
And the laser and the lights and the smoke, it was so high energy, and yeah, we waited for the last song to show up, like Hurt from Nine Inch Nails, that was covered by Johnny Cash, and then in November, I went with Eddie to Marilyn
Oh,
Manson,
yeah.
an idol of our youth. I had posts in my room, and oh my god, I was glad we saw him live once because it was on my bucket list. So, but for the time he was becoming a famous kind of anti-hero, back in the days he had a more strange energy. Today he's like
He's an old man, right?
sober from all this crazy stuff he took in the past, and he's, like, more calm and steady, and but I'm glad I made it, this live to see him live, and, yeah, it was also a very cool part. The crowd was a little bit weird,
Fair.
interesting. I expect more, like, well-dressed and make-up gothic girls, but it was more like a metal crowd,
Mm.
like from the guys hanging around, and yeah, super interesting. So these 3 gigs, Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and Nothing But Thieves were what I add to my list. Without you.
Without me. We'll see what's coming up this next year, but from the ones that we just talked about, which was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite. Oh, I it was so hard to make a decision, but at least I would say Fontaine's DC because
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
it was not like the most energetic
Yeah.
concert I have ever experienced, but I've waited so long for this, and I was so into the music this year, so and it was also my first time open air, and I think this is the first time I experienced music in another setting, and so I would say this was my favorite. What about you? What was your favorite from these
That's so
gigs?
interesting. So, I would say I was expecting Joe to be my favorite because I had discovered him maybe, like, 3 years ago, and I was so obsessed.
Yeah,
I
I
just
remember.
loved and the new album came out, and I loved it, and I thought it was gonna be incredible, but in the end, I think it's that concert, even though it was really fun, it's probably not really the kind of music that you need to hear live because it's quite synthesized. There's a lot
Mhm,
of, like, electronic components to it that it's not like, "Yeah, rocking out." It's just really cool music, and I kinda thought even though I'd been really waiting to see him, it wasn't necessarily that I actually feel like I needed to because the music, yeah, as I said, it
mhm.
doesn't sound so different live than it does from the album. So I say that actually wasn't my favorite at all. My favorite is a tie between the darkness and the Raytons. Like, again, something I wasn't expecting to be so incredible, but the energy was amazing. The darkness was so fun, the way they were playing with the crowd. At one point, someone yelled out their Christmas song, the Christmas time, and he was like, at first I thought, you, I'm gonna play what I want. And then I thought, it's the holiday season. Yeah, sure. And then, like, the Christmas song, it was so funny. So, like, I
Yeah.
loved his attitude. I loved like, he was joking around with the crowd the whole time. Remember there was that one guy dancing, and then he kept calling him out, like, "Go Steve," or whatever his name was, I don't even remember. And it was just great. So I loved
Yeah.
that show. And the Ratings was so cool, that we traveled together to go see them and made a little holiday with our men as well. And, it was such a neat energy, and they had the place rocking from, like, from moment 1.
Yeah.
There was really no downturn in that show, so and at the end with the confetti and everything, it felt like a real event, so,
Yeah,
those are my
was
favorites for the year.
it was super good that we made this trip to Utrecht and not at the show in
And
Cologne
Cologne
at the Kantine, right? They were a few
oh, yeah.
days after or before in Cologne
Before it
as
was
well.
yeah.
But I think the venue was right perfect to be on the
Mhm.
upper balcony in a safe space, watching all the crazy,
Right.
mostly maybe British guys or something, I don't know, football
We got
guys.
to take a nice boat cruise around Utrecht, we got to play a lot of, tuto, we had a great time, so
Yeah.
but that was a special concert for me.
Yeah, I remember after the darkness, you said to me, "Oh my god, this gig is under my top 10 ever, ever, ever."
Mhm.
So
That was amazing. The
I
Darkness was
guess
amazing.
you would
I'm gonna
play the
skip
darkness.
I'm gonna skip now the question that I sent you. I'm gonna go out of order a little bit, and I'm gonna get the down part out of the way first. What was your least favorite album that I recommended to you this year?
But yeah, this I was back into our playlist and was figuring out what the hell did we recommend,
I
and
know,
it was so hard to make a decision because every time you get a recommendation, you want to really soak it up and get into it, and at least you maybe get an impression or idea if you like a artist or an album. And it was so hard to answer this question, but at least I would say it was the J Pastel EP Waiting Days B-side. Not because I didn't like the music, but to make a decision this way was like, okay, this was the at least catchy music that was staying in my mind because it's like Tame Impala, you could always hear
wait.
it.
Well, I have a question for you. Are you mixing up? Because I recommend that was 2. There was Pink Skies and J Pastel.
Yeah,
Pink Skies is the one that sounds more like Tame Impala. Is that the one you mean?
yeah, I added J Pastel to our playlist, right? Yeah, and the other was Pink Skies. Yeah, I think I like J Pastel better, but then I'd mentioned Pink Skies, right? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say this one, sorry. I just mix it up because it was
Like,
one
put some respect
recommendation.
on Jay Pastel's name. Do not give them worse when it's Pink Skies that deserves it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, Pink Skies, I was wrong, sorry. So Pink Skies, it didn't stuck in my mind so much. It was easy to listen to get into it, and it was worth listen to it, but I would not say that I dislike it, but at
Mhm.
least I would if I put all the albums in an order, it would be the
This
last
wasn't
one.
special.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
What
fair.
about you? Don't do the wrong one one thing.
Might be the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm not a goth girl. It's
Yeah,
gonna be him for me.
yeah.
That was, I could not connect with
I
that
saw
one.
that coming, yeah.
Yeah, I tried, and, there was the one that I added, I think it's the "I'll be right here, she'll be right here with my arms." That was okay, I can listen to that, but I don't see a scenario where I'm sitting down and putting on that album, so it was not really my vibe,
But
but I'm glad I heard it. I'm glad I got
yeah,
to try it,
but
so
to say sorry, maybe it was the right
never
time
say
of the year.
sorry. You never need to say sorry. I'm loving every suggestion, even if it's
Maybe
something that
it's a November recommendation, not a summer recommendation.
maybe in a different time of year it would go over differently. So then, okay, what was your favorite album that I recommended to you?
What do you guess?
I'm gonna guess oh god, I don't know. Always? Antisocialites?
Yes,
You
I
had
know
that
that
on
it
your radio when we were
yeah,
driving a
and
lot. Made you
it
liked
showed
it.
up in my Spotify Wrapped Up as well.
Very
So
good, very good.
this was an album I needed time to get into always, but
Uh-huh.
it was an album I heard a lot in this row, like, we don't skip, we just listen from the first to the last, and I did this a lot of times, and it grew on me, and I really can see what all the dive communities also admiring about Always, like, also shoegazy, indie music. Yeah, I switched over to the other songs, the other albums as well, and I can really admire that they are your favorite artists.
Nice. Okay. What do
Yeah.
you think mine was?
Yeah, I remember that 2 albums I recommended to you were at least, like, vibing a lot with you. The first one was the Circa Said Happy album, but I think the Nothing But Thieves album was more what is your favorite, right?
Mortal Panic was
More Panic was it, yeah.
mhm. I to this day am listening to it. It's a bop. I love it. So and I'm
Great.
constantly discovering new songs in it that I'm like, the first time I heard it, I wasn't so into, but now I really am, and, like, I love it. So that is, definitely my choice.
So, I'm super happy that we, like, having the top album from each other is, about an artist we admire a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we are still vibing.
Yeah, 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 it would be if your top was, like, Green Day, which is one that I haven't listened to in years, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, alright, whatever."
What's
We're
wrong with you?
still both really into these artists, so that's great. Okay, what was your favorite album that I recommended that was a surprise? Like, which one
Yeah.
surprised you the most that you liked that maybe you thought you wouldn't like so much, and why?
I would not say album, but I would say artist in general, because I remember when you mentioned to recommend me the White Reaper album. Sorry, I forgot about the name again.
I think it's called oh, I actually also don't remember it right now.
Okay.
I think it's called This Is White Reaper maybe, or just
Yeah,
like
it was one of their first albums, right? Yeah, we talked about it a lot. I was like, "Oh my gosh, could be the strange voice." I know this artist or this album was your energy, and I really want to push through it to get into it. And then at some point it turned because I also discovered newer songs of them, and then I at least could admire them a lot. And I remember that I was listening to them in my first longer bike ride, and it was right, the energy was on point during this activity with
good.
White Reaper. And yeah, this was an artist, not the album itself, but the artist it did shifting. Yeah.
Nice.
What
Cool.
about you?
So, mine is not because it wasn't that I thought, "Yeah, no, this type of music isn't really gonna be mine," or anything like that. I judged the album by its cover. So I had seen the Circa Waves Sad Happy album cover before.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes songs from it would be shuffled into my playlist, like the algorithm would recommend it to me, and I almost always skipped them because the album cover for me was just so creepy and weird, and I didn't like it. And when you recommended it, I was kinda like, "Oh, great. Now I'm gonna have to listen to this album." And I loved it! And I don't even think the album cover's creepy anymore. I'm like, "Okay, sure,
Yeah.
album,
Don't
whatever."
judge an album by its cover.
Exactly, and I learned that the hard way because I kind of had my own ideas about what that band would be like just from that cover, and I couldn't be more wrong, so I loved it, and that was a great recommendation. I also found some other songs from them that I became, like, obsessed with over the years, so no, that was a pleasant surprise. Basically, last on this exact topic, I'm gonna say, what was your favorite album that you recommended to me? Which album did you recommend to me that is your favorite one from this year?
From this year, okay, I would say, like, Romance from Fontaine's DC.
Okay, yeah. Thank God you didn't say the Him album, huh?
But I had another note, but I just think about it because I recommend you also an album that's at least my top favorite album from every time, and it's the Into album from the Rasmus as well. I really admire a lot. I can always listen to this album. I think this year was special because I discovered Fontaine's DC album Romance, and I gave this recommendation to you, and it was like also like vibing with you. Also, it's not reaching the top of the album recommendations, but I guess this was 2025 was my Fontaine's DC year, so I guess I would say this one.
Okay. My answer, I would actually maybe say Antisocialites from Always, which was the one you chose your favorite, so well done for that.
Yeah, well
But
done.
I also say historically and, like, going back of all time and also just, like, my mood in the last few months, Sam's Town, I think that's
Yeah, classic. Yeah, I
yeah,
really, really enjoyed it too. It's not made it to the tops, but I'm now at the stage that I could admire the Killers even more. And yesterday in the car, we also listened to a few The Killers songs, and yeah, I
nice.
have a deeper perspective on these
Love
stories
to
and
hear
songs.
that. Okay. Which concert are you most excited about moving into 2026?
Yeah, what a question.
Mhm.
I just got one scheduled yet.
Uh-huh.
No, just two. We got two together. I guess we are seeing the White Lies in February.
Mhm.
And we are going to see Ren. and Kid Capici at the All Points East Festival in London in then the end of August, and I'm so hyped. I'm already dreaming about this gonna be happening, and
Yeah,
like having this curious fact that it's going to be the one of the rare live shows of Ren, and there's also Kid Capici hanging around, dropping a new album in January. So, yeah, it's gonna be great. I love it. Just being in London in the summer with you in a festival, I think that could be wonderful.
it'll be so fun.
Yeah,
For me, I'm very excited to see the vaccines in
yeah,
April, of course, but I think I'm more excited to see White Lies because I haven't
yes,
seen them since 2017 or 2016 maybe even, and, I can't wait to see if they are as good as I remembered them being, because when I first saw them, I wasn't even really a fan, and I was so impressed by them that I got so into their music. As well, I've been loving the new album, so I really can't
yeah.
wait for that show, and there's also a couple other concerts that have been announced that I'm keeping my eye on but don't have tickets to yet.
Who's coming around?
Block Party and Interpol. So, I'm kind of
Interpol.
Interpol and Block Party are performing together.
You're an Interpol fan?
Yeah. You
My God,
told
I didn't know it.
Yeah, we talked about this last year for sure.
But we don't have a recommendation yet, right?
No. No, 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 but right when I was listening to Editors, that's when I
Ah,
started
yeah.
listening to
Sure,
Interpol.
it was like yeah,
Yeah.
I
They're performing
remember.
together, and I remember we talked a bit about Block Party this year as I was starting
Yeah, we
to
talked about Block Party, yeah.
Exactly, to listen to them a bit more,
Yeah.
or listen to them again a little bit, and I saw really recently, because remember I told you that Metric had dropped out of the concert with Block Party, so I guess they replaced them with Interpol, and I thought that could be quite cool. So that's in November, I think. I think that's in November, so
Wow.
keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Maybe we wanna go to that.
Send me a reminder.
The other one is, you know what? Sadly, so Tame Impala is playing in Düsseldorf, May 1st. Sadly, I will not be there because, that's when Niels and I are going to Rufus Du Sol in Berlin. So, we
Okay.
won't be seeing Tame Impala. I also know it's sold out too,
I
so
can make it there and then we can compare it.
yeah, you can tell. I've already seen Tame Impala
Yeah, you
anyways,
always see him.
and
Yeah.
Deadbeat wasn't really my favorite album, so whatever, but
Yeah.
it's
I'm also not sure to go there, but why not? Why not?
why not? Why
If
not?
nothing other is gonna happen, so just keep whatever you can get.
Keep our eyes on what's coming.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if Marina also announces a tour in Europe this year. Maybe
but
she's already announced
I
her
got
tour.
another question for you. If
Yeah.
you forget about seeing the vaccines on the support act for Mumford& Sons, would you be more hyped to see the vaccines next year?
You know what? I'm actually gonna say no. I would be less hyped. I'd be more nervous because I'd watched YouTube videos of their performances, and some of them weren't that engaging and lively. So I was kind of worried they weren't that good performing live.
Okay.
But then I was impressed by their performance at Mumford& Sons, so now I feel more safe going into this.
Ah, okay. So you know it's gonna be a good gig, yeah.
It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah,
So
I'm also excited about the White Lies because you recommended me the album last year or
Friends, yeah,
Friends
last year.
the year before, and I really also like the songs from the newer album. I'm also super curious to. This is what I feel kind of safe. I know I like the music, and now I'm really want to see the experience how they are interacting live and how the energy is.
It's gonna be great. Now maybe let's tie this in a little bit to the Spotify Wrapped questions as well. So, what was your favorite song of the year, and what was your Spotify most played? Are they the same? Are they not? And why do you think that would be?
Yeah, I checked it again, and Spotify said favorite from Fontaine's DC was my favorite song this year.
Okay, great song.
And yeah,
You agree?
I would say I agree. I put on Fontaine's like on shuffle and get through every and each and every album, and I soaked up not just Romance, also the other songs. And I guess it's fair enough because it's an easygoing song, and I put it on. Yeah, was in a good mood, and I think that's a good
Okay,
statistic. I would say I agree.
great. All
What
right.
about your favorite song?
So Spotify said my favorite song was Basic Being Basic by Joe. and I love that song, don't get me wrong.
But you're so sad you didn't get this T-shirt at the show, right?
They didn't even have that shirt at the merch. I'm gonna have to order that.
No.
Even though I know you and I say we shouldn't order merch, you have to go there and earn it by getting it in the wild. You have to hunt your own merch. You can't just buy it at the store. But, yeah, maybe for that one I'll order. But, no, I wouldn't actually say that was my favorite song of the year. I think that song came out in, like, March or February maybe, or maybe even January. It came out much earlier in the year before the album because that was the single. So I had a whole year to listen to it, and I
Mhm.
did a lot. But I would say my actual favorite song of last year, the one that really sticks out in my head, is "Love to Walk Away" from the Vaccines, which I didn't discover till, I don't know, maybe halfway through the year or even, yeah, maybe even in, like, September.
Mhm.
That one was so close in plays to Basic Being Basic, and when I think, "Okay, I had a whole year to listen to Basic Being Basic and only, like, 4 months where I was listening to this song," I think if I discovered that earlier, that probably would have swept the category,
Yeah.
so,
And I
yeah.
guess to be fair, maybe the algorithm is shuffling Joe into your playlist a
Oh,
lot more.
certainly. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but the vaccines too, I mean, I was binging them this year, so yeah. Well, then on that topic then, what about your album of the year, and does it align with Spotify? So, well, you've already kinda given yours away. Yours is definitely "Romance" by, Fontaines DC.
Yeah.
I agree that does agree with it. Who was your 2nd? What was your number 2?
Oh. Phew, I have to check my phone and it's at the charger. I didn't know it yet. But I think Always was also Antisocialities was also mentioned in the albums. I was super
Okay.
surprised. I think the other albums was also like Skinty Fear from Fontaines, just a lot of Fontaines in it. But it's Always also. So at this point, Long Players Club is influencing my Spotify statistics. And I think I would agree also with Always because, yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed it, listened to this album.
What do you think my favorite album was this year?
Yeah, I think you told me it was
I'm sure I did tell you.
the Vaccines album, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first
the
one, What
first the
to
fir
Expect. Yeah, yeah, that was it.
but was it close to, Nothing But Thieves album, or was it
No,
no?
I think it was, like, miles ahead of everybody. I
Okay.
need to rewatch it, I need to rewatch it, but, like, when I like something, and I'm, like, injected
Just
into my veins.
soaking it up, yeah.
Yeah, truly, and yeah, and I'm like, "Am I gonna get sick of this? Ah, who cares? Play it anyways, let's see what happens." But no, those are mines. About your Spotify Wrapped, what were there any surprises? Tell me, give me, like, a summary. What did you have on your Wrapped? Okay. My top artists were The Vaccines, Joe, Taylor Swift. Surprised she's still in.
Yeah.
Did not like the new album. Nothing But Thieves, number 4, and The Killers, number 5. Um, 61,000 minutes listened. My top songs, Basic Being Basic, If You Wanna, Love to Walk Away, so that was the one I thought would be Is Everybody Going Crazy? And The Dream.
Yeah, good song.
And my top genre was indie rock. Yay! What about my albums? Oh, here we go. Top albums. Yeah, so What Did You Expect was number 1. Pickup Full of Pink Carnations, also from the Vaccines, was number 2. The Crocs from Joe was number 3. Tortured Poets Department from Taylor Swift was number 4. And The Crux Deluxe was number 5. I think that's unfair because they're both the same album. It shouldn't count. I want to get another one. So I would say number 5 would probably then be Mortal Panic. But yeah, those are mine. Okay, what about you? What are your top artists? Give me your main story and then your top album story.
Yeah, my top artists are also artists I saw a lot of live. So Fontaines DC was the first top artist. October Drift was the second top artist, although I just discovered them in September. So they made it run up to my list.
Prorated, they should have been number 1.
Then Dive, 3. Fourth is Joe, actually. I don't really actively remember listening a lot to him, but I think before we head up to the concert, I was like getting into it.
Yeah, could be.
And the fifth is Royal Otis, also a band I discovered this year. We could have the possibility to see them live this year too, but we skipped it.
Yeah, because we're gonna be seeing October Drift. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
be in London. Yeah, mine is.
Yeah. My minutes from listening were 47,032. It's not a lot. What did you had?
61,000.
61. You having more the possibility to listen to music while you're working. It's not
Yeah,
possible for me.
my commute.
So favorite songs, yeah, favorite Starburster, I Love You, Bug, also just Fontaines.
All from Romance, okay.
From no, I think Bug is yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah,
And the fifth song I didn't even know. It's maybe a lo-fi song, and this is
okay.
also my top genre is lo-fi beats because I used to when I listen to music while working, it's always lo-fi. But I don't know any artist, album, or song by its name, so I don't
Okay.
know.
What about your top albums? I think you have to scroll over for those
Yeah,
ones.
I see it. Top album Romance. The next Antisocialities from Always. Blame the Young, October Drift, Skinty Fear, Fontaines, and The Crux from Joe is fifth.
We had an overlap! Hey!
Yeah!
What?
Woo!
We had an overlap, amazing. Alright,
Crazy.
awesome. But then I think I had another question for you was what yeah, who would be your top guest for 2026?
My top guest for 2026 in our podcast. I think it could be super interesting to get in touch with the older rock dads,
Mm,
uncles,
you bring
whatever.
bringing our
So
dads, huh?
yeah, to bring our dads or the uncle of Niels or something like the generation that is really admiring listening to albums. They are not used to listening to playlists. I've never thought about this fact, but
About it then.
I think my dad does not even know what playlists are.
Does your dad have Spotify? That's an interesting question.
I think when he's listening digital, he's listening on YouTube.
I need to ask my dad I know my dad does have Spotify because I'm pretty sure I have made him playlists before, but I know my mom only listens to, like, one playlist. So,
Okay.
I don't know,
Just
but
pressing play.
I need to ask my parents about their music
Yeah.
listening habits, but
Yeah, I really look forward to this kind of guest, but yeah, I don't know if it's too ambitious, but I'm setting in my mind that we're having a very special guest at some point. I don't know who that could be, but yeah, let's keep it
okay, you're
open.
manifesting an actual artist to come on?
I
Nice,
hope
good,
so.
love it. Well, I would say I would like to talk to, yeah, my friend Colette because she did this challenge where she listened to a new album every week for a year,
A
and
week.
I think she probably has some pretty interesting ideas about music because she took recommendations from everyone across her life. So people her parents' age, people younger than her, people her age, people from different backgrounds, everything. So I would be really interested to hear about what that experience was like. And I also think is a week even long enough to really get to appreciate
Yeah.
because we usually need a month or so before we're actually into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'd be really cool to talk to her
Yeah,
about
that would
that.
be also very cool.
If
Yeah.
I'm going dream guess though, like shoot for the stars, I think Lady Gaga would be so sick to talk to.
Crazy. Okay.
Obviously, this is not happening this year, but
This
dream
year,
guess
not this year.
you totally.
Maybe the
Why
if
not?
the algorithm likes us and we are like
Yeah,
having a
she was on a podcast this year, but yeah, okay. And I guess those are my questions. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap up and I go make brunch for the con
yeah, one last question. I thought about this. I think it's always special in a year to look back on what you discovered new. And is there maybe a hidden gem in your newer artists you saw this year or listened to this year that you see they have really big potential and you hope next year they come back even stronger? You said Joe is one of it, but he's not a hidden gem anymore.
Well, honestly, okay, not in the sense that what you mean that they're gonna come back stronger, but I would say I've I've known the Darkness for a while, but I found a new appreciation for them this year. So
Oh,
that was
okay.
gem. It was a gem. It was something I knew was a gem, but I dusted it off and saw the sparkle this year. But in terms of kind of what you're talking about, I would guess, I mean, Nation of Language, I started listening to a little bit last year when we were thinking about going to the concert. And though I've listened to a few of the songs just kind of passively, just having it playing, I could see that being something that I could get more into this coming year and maybe digging a bit into their back catalog
Mm-hmm.
and maybe going from there. So that's one I'd like to follow up on a little bit more. And that was something cool in a different genre than I'm
Yeah,
used to.
good choice.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. What about
Cool.
you?
Yeah, I thought about this longer because I think that Hi Hi is really a good artist we discovered this year. And we know it's a Belgian band, and as we know, like from Stromae, Belgian power couldn't be evolve international. So fingers crossed they really make it to have a bigger career and growing up. And I think they really deserve it because the way we discovered them, like on this small festival, seeing them live, feeling the energy, they are super unique in a indie genre way. I don't know how to describe describe this, but I think they're really a hidden gem that has to grow a little bit more. It's worth
Yeah,
it. They
definitely.
deserve it.
Looking forward to seeing how they do with the next album, and, I'll be listening, so
Yeah.
great. Well, then,
Yeah. It's time
what's our
for
first rec
recommendation, but I got an idea
of?
because I know that, yeah, there's a release coming up, and maybe it's also a good chance to jump into one album we can share as a new
Okay,
release, but I'm totally open. So on the 16th of January, the new albums from Kid Kapichi is going to be released, and I'm super curious and waiting for it. And the new song Rabbit Hole is on repeat, and I really soaked it up in every single note.
okay.
That could what this would be my idea, but I'm
Well,
totally open.
sounds good to me, we can do that, but I think then, let's see, what else do we have coming up? Um, so this one's on January 30th, so no, that's a little too oh, that's
When is
fun.
the Hi Hi albums
That's
coming up?
January 30th.
Ah, okay.
Okay. You know what? On January 23rd is a solo album being released from one of my favorite One Direction members, Louis Tomlinson. And he's also playing in Cologne in April, but I also have that on my mind to maybe go to that concert. So I'm going to say then, How Did I Get Here by Louis Tomlinson when that comes out in January. And we have Sailor Stuff from Kid Capici. So those are
Yeah.
both usually we recommend albums that we already know and that we recommend to the other person because we like it. Here we're going in blind, just artists that we like.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
And then we have 2 albums each to listen to.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
good idea.
Okay, awesome. Well, then, on that note, what's our going out catchphrase? Do we have one?
Yeah, we listen and we don't skip at least.
That's right. Don't skip. See you next year.